All right, let's practice our newfound skill. So we got x minus 2 divided into 3x squared plus 7x minus 2. So I believe that's a 3x. So 3x squared minus 6x. We subtract. So that's 13x minus 20. And I believe that means I add 13. So that's 13x minus 26, remembering that I'm subtracting. And I believe that's negative 20 plus 26, so a remainder of 6. So in this case, 3x squared plus 7x minus 20 equals x minus 2 times 3x plus 13 plus 6. Okay, more over here. X plus 1, so I believe that's a 3 again. So that's 3x squared plus 3x. And then I'm subtracting. So that means I got a 4x minus 20. So I believe I add 4. So that's 4x plus 4. Subtracting. I believe I'm left with a negative 24. And once again, and here our function is x plus 1 times 3x plus 4 plus a negative 24. One more. Let's start off with a 3x. So I got 3x squared plus 12x. Remember, I'm subtracting, so negative 5x minus 20. So subtract 5, negative 5x minus 20, remembering that I'm subtracting. Oh, 0. That was nice. So this one means that, let's keep it all here. That means 3x squared plus 7x minus 20 equaled x plus 4 times 3x minus 5, and there's no remainder, which to me means that x plus 4 must equal 0. That's a 0. So x plus 4 equals 0, or x equals negative 4. Once again, that's a 0. That's pretty exciting. So let's see if that works. Let's put that negative 4 back into our original equation. 3 times a negative 4 squared plus 7 times a negative 4 minus 20. That looks like 3 times 16 minus 28 minus 20. I believe that's 48 minus 28 minus 20. So f of negative 4 equals 0. So I know whenever I come up with the remainder of 0, I know that I found a 0. Well, let's see what happens back at these other problems. Let's look at this one here. Our remainder in the very first problem was 6. All right, let's look at this x minus 2. So let's just see what happens if I set that x minus 2 equal to 0 and I say x equals 2. And let's figure out what f of 2 is. So I got 3 times 2 squared plus 7 times 2 minus 20. So that's 3 times 4 plus 14 minus 20. That's 12 plus 14 minus 20. 26 minus 20 equals 6. Does that look familiar? So f of 2 equals 6. So I could have just, instead of doing all that long division, I could have just checked and said, hey, I wonder if that's a 0, and put in 2. Let's look at the other one here. Let's get a little crazy. But the last one here was x plus 1. And we got a remainder of negative 24. So not only do I know that this is not a 0, but I know in the last one that the remainder was 6. So we'll wonder if we get a remainder of a negative 24. So x plus 1 was my divisor. Let's set that equal to 0. X equals negative 1. Let's see if this works. F of negative 1 equals 3. Let's look at the original equation. 3x squared plus 7x. So 3 times negative 1 squared plus 7 times negative 1 minus 20. So that looks like 3 plus a negative 7 minus 20. Negative 27 plus 3 equals a negative 24, which that's what we got up here. So just to try f of negative 1, see if negative 1 is to 0. It is not, but I know that if I do long division, I'll have a remainder of negative 24.